Hi, now you know what exactly Android is. Let's just create our very first application in Android. To create that, you will be opening up your Android Studio and you will be presented with this window. And once you have downloaded all the SDKs and all, then you can go ahead and design your first application. Click on the Start New Android Studio Project. And here, you need to give the application name. Let me just call it my Hello First App. And this is your company domain name. It can be anything what you like it to be. In my case, it's com.example.demoUser. Combining this company name and application name, your package name will be formed. And make sure this package name is unique, because when you are going to upload your APK at the end, that APK is the APK's package will be checked out by your Google Play Store. So if it is not unique at that point of time, you might want to change that package name. So if you try to put this right now, like com.example.demoUser is already being taken by the Google, that is for example purposes. You can't upload your application like this. Let's say you put com.lalit.myapplication, my hello first app, and that domain is also being taken up by somebody else, then also you cannot upload it. So it has to be unique. Next, this is your project location. For our example purpose, we are going to use this package name only. Then this is the project location, where exactly your project is going to be saved. You can change it if you like. Click on next. Then you have to select the minimum and maximum SDK here. Maximum by default will be the latest one, that is 25 API, or if you are using 24 API. And then there will be a minimum you have to select. Now, I could have gone all the way down to 9, and then you can see that I will be targeting 100%, approximately 100% of devices right now in the market. But the problem here is, the more I go down, the more I'm sacrificing with the feature, because the Gingerbread will not be containing all the feature which my Android API 25 is containing. So, of course, even if I'm selecting 15 will not be containing all the feature which my API 25 is containing. But till 15, I can get the Android support libraries. That is the external library which are being provided by the Android framework. I can get those libraries to support those features up until to a version. I cannot get support libraries below than all the way below down to the 2.3. So that's why you have to make a balance also. And you can see while I'm selecting API 15, I can still target 97.4% of the devices. And that's a good thing. Go to next. Then you will see all of these templates. You can select any one of these templates to start your Android application development. As we are starting our very first app, and we are going to start with the very scratch, I will click on empty activity and press next. And give the name of the activity. Let's say I'm going to call it main activity only. Let's say activity. So you can give any name, whatever you like. So this will ensure that you are creating a activity name, that is the Java file, plus the layout, that is the XML file. It will create your layout file. If you do not want that, you can uncheck this, but you definitely want the UI part of your activity also. How exactly your activity gonna look like on the screen, you want that. And then there is a backward compatibility check. If you are turning this on, that means your activity will be extending app compact activity. If you uncheck this, then your activity will be extending extend activity class. So backward compatibility is to make sure that even the previous version are able to access the new features which are there in new versions with the help of support libraries. So press on finish. And let the Gradle build. Gradle is the building tool here, which is used by your Android system to build your application. Please wait for Gradle to build your project first. If you try to keep on clicking here and there, your Gradle might crash. You need a pretty fast machine for Gradle not to crash. So let the Gradle build. Once the Gradle, you see at the below, indexing is done and Gradle is built. After that, you can see that this is the Java file, that is main.activity activities Java file, and this is the activities layout file. that is the XML file. This is how your first application will look like. Now, before doing anything else, let me just run this application. To run this application, first of all, you need to create a virtual device. So how can you create a virtual device? There is this icon AVD manager known as Android virtual device. Click on that. Either there will be a by default virtual device created for you by the Android, or you will be seeing this screen. You can even delete that virtual device and come to this screen. Click on this button and select one of the resolution device which you want to work on with. Let's say Nexus 5, create the resolution 1080 cross 1920. So if you want to work with this kind of resolution, you can go ahead, or if you want to work with any other kind of resolution, you can select that too. Press next. Then it asks you that what should be your system image, which system image you want to run on your virtual device. Now here it will only show you the system images or the SDK images which you have downloaded at the time of downloading it from your SDK manager. In mine, you can see there is a 23 and there is a 25. So I will go with 25, and I'm using x86, that too of Google API. If you do not want to use of Google API, then normal x86, you can go with normal x86, but then you must have downloaded that system image here. Other images, any ARM or image, if you want to work with that, you can work with that too, but I wouldn't recommend with ARM as they are very slow. Recommended, I'm using the latest one, and that to Google API. Press next. You can give the name of your device or virtual device, anything you want. Let's say Black Knight 01, and press finish. And there you see my device is ready. All I have to do is just press on this play button, launch button, and it will launch the emulator. Wait for some seconds, and you can see emulator will be up running in a bit. x86 emulators are way faster as compared to your ARM. If this would have been an ARM machine, the same would have taken a long time to run. This will take hardly a minute to turn it on. And I would recommend that once once your emulator is on, whenever you are doing the development, then do not close your emulator until unless you are done for the day, or you are done with the development for that day. Why? Because every time you run or you close your emulator and run again, it will again take the same time to launch your emulator again and again. So what you can do here is just run it once, and then after that you keep on running your application from your Android Studio, and they will directly run your emulator. So emulator doesn't have to restart or get the resources again and again. So how will you do that? As you can see, my emulator is already running. What I will do to run my application is, here you can see a play button, launch button, run app button. Just click on that. You can my Android Studio automatically detected that there is a device connected to me right now that is called Black Knight. Press on OK, and this application will run on my Android device. Just wait for it. Gradle will start building. If there is any error or something, that also will be detected out at this point of time. And there you go. So this is my very first app which I have created with the help of Android Studio. Even if you close your app, now you go to your apps, you can see your app here. You click on this, so it is just behaving like any other app. Now before moving any further in Android, let's just learn a little bit about your Android Studio IDE itself. So the left part is known as project pane. We will come to that. This middle area is known as code area, or you can create your layout also here by dragging and dropping. And the below part is known as your console. This is where you will be seeing what is going on with your Android. I just ran an application here in my Android Studio, or in my Android device, virtual device. So it gave me what was going on. This was the run mode, what was going on with my application in run mode. But you can go to your Android monitor also. You will see a logcat. Logcat will be your friend throughout your Android application development, because it tells you what's going on in your Android virtual device. Okay, so now you can see here, this part here is known as project pane. In this, what you are seeing is right now the Android project hierarchy. We'll talk about other project hierarchy also, but when we talk about Android project hierarchy, you will see your project is divided in two parts. One is your app folder, another one is your Gradle scripts folder. So let's just talk about Gradle script folder first. When we open up our Gradle script, you will see that in Gradle there are mainly three types of Gradle file. One is called project level Gradle, build.gradle, which will contain nothing but the information about my Gradle version itself. As you can see, which Gradle I'm using right now here is Gradle 2.2, and include all the repositories in this project. Second Gradle file which you will be seeing is module level Gradle file. As I only have the mobile module here, so there is only one. If there would have been a Android Wear, then there would be a Wear also. If there would be TV, then there would be a TV module Gradle file also. So there is only one. What exactly it contains? It contains the information about that module itself. What is the minimum version of SDK I'm going to use? What is the target version for this SDK? What is the application ID and the compilation SDK version? So all that information will be included in this module level Gradle. Even the any dependencies you want to add, that is libraries and all, so that also will be added inside this. As you can see, there are this many libraries. As of right now, I'm using the Espresso libraries, and the COM support, that is app compact support libraries also I'm using, JUnit library also I'm using. So if you want to add any external library, that also you will be adding inside the dependencies only. So that's what the use of module level Gradle file is. It tells you about or gives you the information about that particular module itself. Next is setting level Gradle file. It includes it's again a one file per application. It tells the compiler that which module has to brought into the compilation at any particular time. For example, if you have a weather application designed for your mobile also, TV also, and Wear also, and your TV and Wear are still not complete for the production level, then your only mobile app for weather is complete. Then you can include the module of mobile here only, like this, mobile, and then the name of the Gradle file, like right now it's app here, will be mobile. And if there is a Wear also, then you will be putting Wear 2, like this, Wear. If there would be a Wear, that's the condition. That is if there is a Wear module 2. Okay, so now as of right now there is no Wear, so there is only just one. That's why this setting Gradle file contains only app, because that's the only Gradle file you're gonna compile whenever you are going to run. Okay, great. So that was Gradle scripts. Now let's just talk about app part. In the app part, you will see mainly three project or three folders. First is your manifest project. Inside this, you will find a file Android manifest.xml. This is the file which comes in contact with your Android device for the very first time when you install your application. So when this application is getting installed in any emulator or any device, this will be the file which will come in contact with your Android device for the very first time. What exactly it contains? It contains the information about the application itself, like the package name, what's going to be my package name, and the application information, like how many screens or how many activities is going to contain. If there are more screens, then you have to register them here only. Like again, if there is another activity, there will be another activity tag, or if there is more services, there will be services tag. And it will also include the permission. Let's say your application is going to contain any permission like internet permission or access network state permission or GPS permission. So you need to declare those permission here inside this manifest file only. Like this, let's say I want to include the internet permission. I will use this permission, internet, and there you go. So this is how your permission gets added also. So that was Android manifest file, and in the manifest file you can see that there are many attributes, as you can see, right? Like allow backup will make sure that putting that true, that okay, this application is compatible to get the backup to. And the icon, icon attribute here is getting the icon from @mipmap IC launcher. I will talk about this @mipmap in a bit, but know that this here is getting the icon, or this label attribute also is getting the text from your resource folder. We'll talk about that, how exactly it is getting that. Supports RTL is again right to left. There are application which, or languages which goes from right to left. So this application will support the RTL language too. And theme, again, I'm getting the style from resource folder. We'll talk about that also, but know that these attributes are setting, this one is setting the icon to my application, this one is setting the name or label to my application, and this one is setting the style to my application. Now let's just come to our Java folder. When you open up your Java folder, you will find three packages. First package is known as development package. Second package is known as Android test package or instrumented test package. Third package is known as unit testing package. The first package is in development package, you will put all the code for your application development. This is the package which you will be dealing a lot when you are doing the Android application development. All your activities, services, broadcast receivers, content providers, database classes, all those classes will be kept inside this development package only. As you can see, there is only one activity right now, that is main activity. If you open up, this is your main activity. This is how your main activity looks like. So inside your main activity, you can see that activity is nothing but a class which is extending app compact activity, and this app compact activity is being inherited from, or is being taken from, your Android support library. As you can see, app compact library is imported from your android.support.v7.app. Now, if I would have done activity also, then also syntactically there would be no problem, because ultimately this is a activity only, right? So but then I'm designing for the latest version. Then the features which are like material design and all the new features will not be supported by the previous version if they are not included there. So that's the reason I want to include the app compact activity here. Now, inside your activity, you can see that there is a method I'm using, overrided method, that is called onCreate. So that means this onCreate method is already defined inside app compact activity. I'm just overriding it. And inside this, there is the very first statement. What I'm doing is super.onCreate. Super.onCreate will make sure that before I do anything, before I do any customization in this particular method, I want to use all the functionality which was there in my parent activity. So I do not want to tamper with the functionality which was provided to me by my activity class, the onCreate functionality which was provided to me by activity class. I want that. Plus, if I want any one of or any of my own functionality, that I would include after including this statement. So once I include this, then I'm including my own statement, that is set content view. I'm providing a particular content, or I'm providing a particular view to my activity, and that also I'm doing with r.layout.activity main. Just for now, understand that I'm attaching my layout file here. I'm attaching this layout file, as you can see, activity main. But I will discuss it in more detail in a bit, that how exactly it is getting attached. But you can see activity_main is the file which is getting attached to this particular main activity here now. So that was the development package, and that was the main activity file. And in other packages like Android test, you will see the files files which are used for UI testing. Here all the UI testing classes will be put, and inside this all the JUnit classes testing, all the classes for JUnit will be put. So that was Java folder. So Java folder will specifically contain all your coding part. Now let's just come to REST folder. Now REST folder is a very important folder in your Java, in your Android application development, because Android application development is not just about Java. It includes your resources also, and the resources can be images. Resources can be layout files, XML files, or any values resources, that is you are providing hard-codedly. So let's just talk about them in a bit more detail. there will be a rest folder, and inside that rest folder there will be some dedicated folders like drawable. Drawable is a folder which will be used to include the images. Okay, generally the drawable, each and every folder which you are going to design inside your rest folder will have a specific purpose. So the drawable here is used for your images, or if you have any animations, selectors. So for those kind of things you will be using the drawable. You will be seeing more of it in your further sessions, what exactly this drawable folder can be used more for. But for now, understand that all the images and animation parts you will be putting here. Next is your layout folder. Layout folder is a folder where you will be providing all the layouts for your activity, or all the UI part, or any layout you want to show to your screen. This is the folder where you want to design. So that file which you just saw, this is where it resides. Activity underscore main.xml. So any XML file you are seeing, any layout file you are seeing, they are inside your layout folder. And you can see that this layout here is right now. This is the drag and drop screen that is called layout editor. You can drag any button here also right now and place it anywhere you want, right? And this is the drag and drop part. But when you click on the text tab here, you will be able to see the coding part, that is the XML part also. We will discuss about the coding part also and how exactly we can deal with these XML part in our further session. But for now, know that in layout folder all the layout file exists, and you can edit the layout of these XML or these XML file with the help of layout editor. Next is your mipmap. Mipmap is a folder which is again used for your images only, but here you can put the different screen resolution images together, bind different screen resolution images together. As you can see, the image here is known as iclauncher.png. Each and every image is named same here, like iclauncher.png, iclauncher.png, but you can see the difference here is the resolution. There will be an image which will be, this image is high density pixel image, then there is extra high density pixel image, then there is extra high density pixel image. So the resolution changes. If you have an image of different resolution, you will put them, you will put it in the mipmap by putting the same name. If it is my image name is logo and I have 5 different resolution of logo, I will put logo only, but the resolution will be different. Like one may be 42 cross 42, other may be 72 cross 72, and the other one may be extra high density 120 cross 128 cross 128. So automatically it will create a folder which will define my high density pixel image differently, and medium density pixel differently, and extra high density pixel image differently. So what is the use of it? Now if you run your application on any device which uses extra high density pixel, you don't have to specify, or you don't have to put in the code that use this image. It will automatically judge that, okay, this is my extra high density pixel device. It will automatically pick this image only. So that was mipmap. Now let's just talk about values. Now values is a folder where you generally put all your other resources which you want to put or show to the users, like colors. Now this is the value is the folder again where you want to define your different resources also, like to make the localization, so that you don't have to define those resources again and again. It may be any string value or any title or any color also. As you can see, I defined a color file.xml separately, and I then define the color tag here. Now remember that any resource you want to define, you have to use the resource tag first. So now this will be a resource, this color will be a resource, and the name of the color by which I'm going to access it anywhere is now color primary. So the use of this way of defining the resources, let's say this is the color right now. As you can see, the color is 3F51B5. Now I don't have to remember this color code or hash code again and again first thing, and I can directly use this color primary wherever I want to use it. In a bit we are going to see how exactly we can use it also. In the second use is, let's say tomorrow your boss says, okay, I want to change this color, instead of being color primary, let's say you define one more color here, and that color is title color underscore color. and you define a color code 19cc00. So 99cc00. Okay, so this is my title color. So let's say tomorrow your boss says, okay, we are going to change our title color. So you don't have to go to each and every place where you have used this hash code. If you would have done hard codedly, you have to change this hash code each and every place. Here you are just going to change the color here, and wherever you have used this name there, now all those places will be receiving the changes. So that's the beauty of defining the resources here. So in this way, I have defined resource colors. Only here you can see color, primary color, dark color, accent, and color title, right? So one more thing I want to point out here is anything you put in your resource, even an image, even a layout file, or even all these color which I'm putting here right now, anything you put in your rest folder, they get a registry inside a file named as r.java file. R.java file is a system generated file which is being provided to you by your Android system itself or Android application itself. So you don't have to create it, but whatever you do inside your rest folder, that will get an entry inside the r.java file. So as of right now, the color which I have just defined, they all will get the entry, plus the activity main .xml should also have an entry, and all these MIP maps should also have an entry. So let's just check that out. You won't be seeing r.java file inside your Android hierarchy. To see that, we need to change the hierarchy to package, and inside the package, this is your development package, and you can see R. Just click on this r.java file, and you can go back to your Android now. So this is your android.rjava file. You can see that file under the build folder are generated and should not be edited. So you are not to tamper with this file. I have just shown you this to prove my point that everything you put inside your rest folder is actually registered here. So I'm gonna find my activity main first. So anything you put inside your rest folder will get registered inside your r.java file, but in the same way where you are defining it. Like your layout file, that is activity underscore main.xml, you have defined inside a layout folder. So it will be inside your r.java folder, but inside a class layout. So class layout, you can see class layout, and then inside that with the name activity main. We just have to search out that. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the entry here now. In the same way, let's just talk about MIP map. So MIP map will be registered inside the r.java file, but with the class MIP map. You can see here, and there is IC launcher, right? Ultimately, this is just a one image, right? So with just one name. So that's why there is only one entry. And I just saved bunch of colors there. So to check out colors again, with which class it will be saved? Color, resources, color. Because that's, you can see tag is color here. So color, and inside color you can now find out what is the name why you saved. Color primary, color dark, color accent, and title color. So you just have to find out that color primary, color dark. Yeah, see, color primary, color dark, color primary dark, and the title, I included my own also title color. So it will be somewhere around here. If anything is not there, you can even rebuild your project. And sync it now. Okay, now find color, class, color. So we have already seen that color primary, color dark. Okay, sorry, color primary, color dark. Where is color primary, color accent, color primary dark. Then there is a title color. Yeah, there you go, title color, which we saved here, right? So any resource you create, there will be an entry. So now you can see. So in the same way, there is a dimension folder or diamonds folder, inside which we are defining some spaces. Diamond are used for defining some spaces, that is defining some blank spaces. Here I'm putting some horizontal margin, that is 16 dp for the default screen size. But if this same screen size is a tablet or something, or a screen size with a 7-inch screen or 10-inch screen, this same horizontal margin will become 64. Can you see that the name of activity underscore horizontal underscore margin is same as activity underscore horizontal underscore margin? So Android will automatically detect that in which device it is running, whether it is a tablet or a device. Accordingly, it will pick one of these resources up whenever they are being used. I'm still to tell you how to use these resources, but know that this will get an entry inside your r.java file. Diamond. Yeah, you can see that. Then there will be a activity underscore. Yeah, activity underscore horizontal margin, activity underscore vertical margin. Next, string. So you can see here string also. I have created another resource string with the name app name and my hello first app. So the reason here is, see here, every time you open up your app, you see this my hello first app. That's because you have defined it here. Now let's just see how exactly I use this, how exactly I use my resources. You must have seen in your manifest file, when you go to your manifest file, I told you that icon, this icon attribute is used to set my icon. But how exactly it is setting my icon? Because there is a @mipmap / that is IC launcher. So @mipmap means I'm going or I'm referring to my mipmap class. First of all, let's just talk about what is @. If you are defining or if you are accessing your resource, if you want to access a resource, mipmap is what? A resource, right? If you want to access a resource inside a XML file, you will be using @ to denote your r.java file. So this @ right now is denoting or is referring to my r.java file. So first statement will do what? @, that means it goes to r.java file, and inside r.java file, which class I want to go ahead with? That is mipmap. So it will start searching for class mipmap. So inside mipmap also, which file it want? IC launcher. So is there an IC launcher? Yeah. So that's the reason you were able to see the icon here. You were able to see this icon when you this icon. If you want to change the icon, just give some other icon. If you have any other image here, you can give any other image and the icon will get changed. Let me just check if I have any other image. Okay, documents. Okay, downloads. Okay, logo. Okay, icon. Let's just copy this and paste it here inside the drawable. Now I'm putting in drawable, but you can put in mipmap also if you have more than one, icon or different resolution size of your same image. So if I'm referring it from drawable, so this time how exactly I will be referring it? Again, go to the r.java file by using @, but this time I won't be using mipmap, I will be using drawable, and you can see in the drawable there is a dog icon. So if I run this, just make sure if you are using icons, those icons should be actually compatible to the icon size. You can't expect a big icon size or big image to become an icon. So I don't know if my image is actually an icon. Yeah, it was compatible to that. So you can see here my hello world. Now icon has changed. So in this way you can use the resources. So every time you want to use your resources inside a rest folder, you will be using @ and the class name. So in the same way you can see label. Label is what? The title you are seeing here. As you can see, my hello was first tab. How exactly it is picking up? @string. In the resource folder, there is a string, @string. That is string. And inside string, there is a name, app name. And you can see app name. Did I define this resource? Yeah. You can see in the string, I defined string in the string resource, app name. And that's, if I change this here, so first app. So now I don't have to worry about changing it there. It will automatically get changed, and every time you open up your application now, there will be, the title will be first tab instead of my hello first tab. So you see first tab. There you go. So I hope this makes things clear. So in the same way, you can check out the style also. The style gives you style is again one of the resource which tells how exactly your application will look like. So in this particular style, you can see that I'm using a theme. That theme also is theme.appcompact.light.dark action bar. Now this app compact is very crucial because in your Java or in your activity you are using app compact activity. If you would be using a normal activity file here, activity, now at that point of time the syntactically it is right, but when you run this application, that theme will not be compatible with this. So the UI you want is not the you may not get the same UI which you want. So if you are using activity, then according to that activity there will be a different theme. So I'm using app compact. So for app compact I'm using the app compact theme, light and dark action bar. And you can see I'm customizing it by using one of the item. I'm going to customize one of the item known as color primary. And here you can see, as it is a XML file, right? So I want to use a color, so it will be @color/color primary. So I have already defined @color, isn't it, in the color file? @color primary. Great. In the same way, I'm customizing other also. Let's say I don't want to, put color primary. I want to use my color, which I have just defined. So it is title color. Go on. So now, if you run this, you will be able to see the color has changed. So this is how your resource file works around in your Android also. So this was a rest. This is how you access your resource file inside the XML. That is by using @. But if you want to access your resource file in your Java, as you can see, I have attached this layout, file which is defined in layout inside my Java file, inside my activity, with the help of resource folder or resource file only. So if you are accessing a r.java file inside your Java folder, then you will be using dot operator. You can see again I'm using r, this time no @ r, then dot, and then the class name, that is layout, and then the file name which you want to access. So that's how you will be accessing it. Okay, so that was an overview on Android Studio and the project hierarchy and what are the different components you see in your Android Studio. Hope this will help you in understanding your Android Studio better. In further session, we are going to learn more about designing UIs and how exactly we can work around with our screens and all. So that was it from my side in introduction to Android Studio and Android. Thank you.